Hello economics students. In this short video, you'll be introduced to the concept of break-even analysis. You'll be looking at how to calculate break-even, and there are a few questions to answer. For example, you'll be able to have a discussion as to the importance of calculating break-even. Before we do so, I'd just like to review what costs and revenues are through 4 questions. You've already done these already, but it makes sense that we have a quick look through again. So these are the 4 questions. Quickly answer them. First, what is the formula for total profits? Secondly, if total revenue is greater than total cost, what would be the result? If total revenue is less than total cost, what would be the result? And if total revenue is exactly the same as total cost, what would be the result? Quickly write your answers down. So your answer should be total profit. The formula for it is actually total revenue TR minus total costs. If you have that, give yourself a big tick. If total revenue is greater than total costs, your answer should have been or should be profit or total profit. If that's what you have, a big tick. And if total revenue is less than total costs, you will end up with a loss, total loss. Give yourself another tick. Finally, which actually introduces us or brings us to what we're going to be talking about today. When our total revenue is exactly the same as total costs, we call that break even. When total revenue is equal to total cost, we call that break even. In just emphasizing the definition of break even, what we're actually saying is break even occurs in a business when the business's total revenue is actually the same or is equal to its total cost. In other words, the business experiencing break even is not making a profit and is not making a loss. Now, whether you're doing business management, business studies, or economics for IGCSE, the Cambridge curriculum, there are 3 ways of calculating break even. The first method is the table method, and that's what we'll look at in this first quick video. The second method is using the graph method, and the third method is the formula method. So let's look at the table method. So here's some financial information. Let's assume that there is a donut bakery called Catley Ltd, and it's a British-based donut bakery. So the financial information we have here is to make a pack of donuts, we need eggs, flour, sugar, and so on. So it's about $1 we're assuming to produce 1 pack of donuts. We also have rent, because obviously we need a place to, Catley Ltd needs a place to bake all these lovely donuts, and so there's 400 pounds per month for the rent. And salary, these guys are not paid per pack of donuts, they're just paid a salary of 200 pounds per month. And the price per pack, and that's a question I'm sure you'll be asking yourself, how much per pack? Is about £2.50. Now there are 3 questions or some questions here we need to ask ourselves as a business person, as a person studying economics. 3 questions we need to ask ourselves, because break-even analysis is about helping us to make decisions. So the first question we'll need to answer is, how many packs of donuts Catley Ltd need to sell in order to break even? The next question is, why is it important to find the break-even point? What's the point going through all of this? And I believe the final question, and there are many other questions, what does it mean if Catley Ltd produce below the break-even point? I'm sure you have an answer already. Let's go straight into our calculations. So here we can deduce or summarize from the information we have here on the left that the variable cost per unit is $1 or £1 in this context. We can work out that the fixed cost is 600. How did we get that? Well, rent is 400 pounds per month, salary is 200 pounds per month, That gives us a total of £600. We know to sell one pack of donuts, it's about $2.50. So let's look at we producing 0 packs of donuts. What would be our total revenue, our total variable cost, our total fixed cost, our total cost, and our total profit or loss? Let's go straight into it. Now, what we can tell from here, obviously, if we're producing 0 packs of donuts, it's clear that we will not be selling any. Therefore, total revenue is going to be 0. Likewise, if we're not producing donuts, then there's no need for eggs, flour, sugar, butter, the raw material, all those variable costs. And because we know that variable costs are those costs that vary or change with the level of output. 0 units means 0 total variable costs. Now, our fixed costs, you can see 600. Why? Well, we have established that several times. That fixed costs are those costs that remain the same, regardless of the level of output. And in this case, that's 0. The rent needs to be paid. The landlord wants the rent. And if we didn't produce and these workers are at work, we're gonna still have to pay them. And therefore, fixed cost remains 600 at 0 packets of donuts. Now, total cost. I think that's pretty easy what we have done here. Total cost, we already know that. We know that total cost is equal to our total fixed cost plus our total variable cost. And in this case, our total fixed cost is 600 here, and our total variable cost is 0. So we add in these two, and that gives us 600 for our total cost. Now, the final thing that we need to establish here is what is the profit? Is at 0 units. I think it's a no-brainer that if we are not selling any donuts at this time, we are obviously going to make a loss. So what is the loss? By the way, just remember that the formula for total profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Therefore, in this case, total revenue is 0. Here, our total cost is 600. So obviously, we are going to end up with a loss of 600, hence the minus figure. So let's move from 0. We have now become a little bit more productive. We are producing packets of donuts now. So here we go. So let's work out at 100 packs of donuts. How much is total revenue? Again, you can see we haven't written the form, but what is the form for total revenue? You should be able to write that down very, very quickly. So what do? We know in this case, we know that total revenue is equal to price times quantity. We know that price is actually $2.50 times quantity, which is 100. That will give us a total revenue of $250. Here we have it. For the total variable costs, here we know what we do. For the total variable costs, again, it's the variable costs per unit times quantity. Variable cost per unit, we know it's 100 with all the raw materials. Not 100, sorry, 1 pound. So 1 pound times the quantity, in this case 100. Pretty easy. By the way, 250 times 100 donuts, not $100. So again here, so $1 for the variable costs per pack of donuts times 100 packs of donuts, and that gives us 100. You can see that here. So now, what do we have for the fixed costs? How do we calculate that? Excellent. There's 0 need to calculate because we know that fixed costs are those costs that remain the same regardless of the level of output. Therefore, it remains 600 at 100 packs of donuts. So we can just write £600 here. By the way, I've been using $sign here. Just change that to pound. That's okay. 600, not 100. So it's 600 pounds, and we can actually do that right throughout. Fixed costs remain the same, 600. You know what? I should have used dollars instead, isn't it? 600 pounds, 600 pounds, 600 pounds, 600 pounds, 600 pounds for fixed costs right throughout. So now our next task is to calculate quickly our total cost, and that's pretty easy. Total cost, as you know, is actually total fixed costs plus total variable costs. In this case, our total fixed costs, so our total fixed cost, yes, we know it's 600 pounds. Our total variable cost is 100 packs of donuts. Is actually 100 pounds. Then therefore that gives us our total cost, obviously, of 700 pounds. And we put 700 pounds here. And finally, what do we need to work on? Did this business at 0 units we made a loss of $600, 600 pounds rather. At 100 packs of donuts, will we make a profit? Or if we make a loss, will the loss be greater than the 600 pounds previously, or will it be less? Again, let's apply the formula for total profit. It's total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue in this case is 250 pounds, and our total cost is 700 pounds. If we take away 700 pounds from 250 pounds, we should get something like 450 pounds. And again, that's negative. What do you notice now? The profit at 0 packs of donuts compared to the profit / loss at 100 packs of donuts. Still a loss, but what do you notice? The loss has actually been reduced. I wonder what the trend will be. Will we have a trend of decreasing loss or decrease based on the information we have here? And if we have a trend of decreasing loss, what will happen as we continue? So now it's your time to fill out the rest of the table. So your answers should look like this. Please quickly check. So how many packs of donuts Ketlia needs to sell in order to break even? Well, 400 packets, as we can see here, because the total profit is 0, because total revenue is the same as total costs. Why is it important? Well, to set targets for making profit. She now knows that she needs to produce above 400 packs of donuts to make a profit, and if she produces less, she's going to make a loss. To avoid, secondly, to know the level of production that she needs to make not to make a loss, and finally, to do what if scenario. For example, if she changed variable cost to say 50 pence, how much will the new break-even point be? Or what if we increase selling price to £3 or to £4? What would actually be break-even point? Or if we can get our fixed cost reduced to £500, what would be the new break-even point? And so really, that is all you need to know to calculate break-even using the table. So well done. So in closing, remember there are 3 methods: the table method, the graph method, and the formula method. These 2 will be dealt with. The last 2, that is formula method and graph method, will be dealt with in our next video. Thank you very much.